ICJ. Even as it looked at traditional ways to boost employment and revive industry, Modi government went one step further. It recognized the need to promote entrepreneurship among India's youth, and this took the form of a new mission, Startup India. But as the government completes 3 years in office, just how effective has this 15-month-old program been? CNBC TV18's Rukmini Rao Farah Bukwala find out.
आने वाले दिनों में स्टार्टअप इंडिया और देश के भविष्य के लिए स्टैंड अप इंडिया.
Almost 4 months to the day after this rousing speech, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley officially launched the Startup India initiative. This was seen as the government paying more than just lip service to the idea of a startup-driven economy. It gave India's startup ecosystem formal recognition, starting with a clear definition to the term startup and a firm action plan to support such initiatives.
Set up under the aegis of Ministry of Commerce's DIPP, the Startup India Action Plan was high on promises. A single window clearance system even through a mobile app, a 3-year IT exemption and also a friendlier bankruptcy code to ensure 90-day exit period. However, the highlight of the action plan was a 10,000 crore rupee startup fund to finance startups.
For India's startups, however, the conditions attached to these promises have been a stumbling block. The government's own status report shows that of the 1,368 applications received, the DIPP has recognized 502 entities as startups. Of these, only 111 entities registered after the 1st of April 2016 were considered for tax benefits. And of these 111, the interministerial board set up by the DIPP approved only 8 for tax benefits. Government aid in funding has been even tougher to pin down. June 2016 saw the 10,000 crore rupee fund of fund for startups getting approval. Under the aegis of the Small Industries Development Bank or SIDBI, this corpus is to be invested into startups through SEBI-registered venture capital funds. The idea was that while SIDBI would contribute 15% to the corpus, the venture fund would raise the balance 85%. Data from SIDBI and NASSCOM shows that the government has released 600 crore rupees to SIDBI so far, and the remainder of that 10,000 crore rupees will come in tranches till 2025. Through fiscal 2017, 17 venture capital funds were sanctioned 623.5 crore rupees from the funds of funds corpus. These venture capital funds drew only 5.4% of this sanctioned amount, that's 33.63 crore rupees for investment purposes. This money was spread across 62 startups, which cumulatively raised 186.84 crore rupees. Clearly, startups have received just a fraction of the sizable amount the government has disbursed.
There are still operational challenges. I think 2 major things that I feel are hindering it. One is the lack of awareness. A lot of startups still don't know how to gain access to this corpus, or how to get funding through this corpus, or what are the channels to approach that. The second, I think, is the criteria for qualifying under this is still very strict. So a lot of startups, even though are set up in the right spirit, are not able to qualify for this.
Nodal authorities and industry bodies, however, say it is imperative to find the right match for the capital.
I think it will take some time to work through the system to be able to allocate that much capital to early stage startups is not an easy task. We got to just be a little patient, and I think, this time next year, a lot more disbursements will have happened, hopefully.
They add that while muted market conditions did result in a slowdown in commitments last year, volumes are better than ever.
From the point of view of the pace at which the commitments have happened, we are satisfied with the pace. This is in line with the past trend over the last 8 to 10 years. In fact, they are better compared to the period, say, from 2010 to 2015. The fund closures took much longer. In fact, the proportion of funds which could not close at all even after taking SIDBI's commitment was significant, which today it's almost nil. That almost all the funds which have received commitment have been able to obtain their first closing and start investing.
SIDBI is confident the government will disburse a higher tranche in fiscal 2018, and expects investments into venture funds to touch at least 700 to 1,000 crore rupees.
The government on its part realizes that this initiative has been in the slow lane and has been making key changes to it. Earlier, venture funds had to invest the entire corpus solely into startups, thereby restricting the companies that they could invest into. To reduce the capital risk associated with solely funding startups, venture funds are now permitted to invest half the corpus in startups and the remaining half in firms at a more mature stage. The government is also considering enhancing SIDBI's contribution in the funding to as much as 35%, up from the current 15%. And the government hopes that such changes will provide the impetus this initiative needs to stand up to its initial promises. In Bengaluru with Rukmini Rao, in Mumbai, Farah Bukwala Vora.